So building a deadlift session, whether you do it as a kind of like a lower body session, as a leg day and you're throwing your deadlifts in there as a start, or whether you're training your back, always go in and warm up. You know, warm up your hips, warm up your back. Always start with an empty bar. I'll do a couple of deadlifts, a couple of bent over rows, stretch out my lats and do some pull-ups and some dead hangs before going into anything like that. Deadlift session, typically I'll start plate aside, jump up maybe 40 to 60 kilos between warm-up sets, again with the squats and the deadlifts. Similar where I'd like to do 5 to 6 warm-up sets, a little more than I would bench, just because it's more of a high-risk movement. So by the time we're up to working sets, we're talking a deadlift session. Let's say we're off season again, let's pick a 3x5. Heavy deadlifts, it's taxing on the body, it's hard on the body, and it does get you breathing hard. So you want to be taking your time between your warm-ups, and definitely taking your time between your top sets, between your working sets. So whether it's 10, 15 minutes, depending on what you've got to do. If you're doing, you know, cluster sets or speed work, a minute, 2 minutes, whatever you need, but you know, definitely take your rest. It's hard to kind of get everything done within one session on a deadlift because your lower back can only take so much of a beating in one session. You know, when you get a lower back pump and it absolutely crushes you. Our company Strom have just released a product called Hydromax, which directly targets lower back pumps, which has helped me get more work in throughout my squat and deadlift sessions, which ultimately is going to be massive towards building a bigger lift. If you can get more work in and you don't get that pump in your lower back and you're able to stay hydrated through your session, it's going to do you wonders. After the main deadlift work, I like to do a variation. Say if we're doing a deadlift back day, a variation on the deadlift. So as we talked about pause deadlifts, reinforcing your position, you're using maybe 30% lighter weight, sticking within the same rep range, whether it be 5 to 6s, get a couple more sets in there. Your back's under a lot of tension as you're holding that weight, probably twice as long with the pause. So a good couple of sets of pause deadlifts will certainly help you there. After the pause deadlifts, if your lower back is feeling strong, I like to get bent over rows. So bent over rows just off the ground, all the way, pulling the bar all the way up, bending over so that when you're at full extension, the bar is basically just hovering off the ground. You're getting a full range of motion, you're getting a full stretch on your lats. No point in doing little short reps. It's not going to get the stretch in your lats that you need. And when you're pulling on big heavy deadlifts, you know, you do round in the back and your lats will round to a degree. So it's important to be strong in that position and reinforce it with bent over rows. Usually after the rows, I like to do some kind of vertical pull. So a lat pull down or pull-ups, more of a bodybuilding movement again, stretching the lats, contracting at the bottom. And the only thing left to tick off with a deadlift session would be hamstrings. So we've already got plenty of pull work, plenty of deadlift work, good, you know, bunch of sets of hamstring curls to finish the session off nicely. If you want to train your calves, train your calves.